everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how to start using MessageFlow panel, MessageFlow system, how to set up the initial configuration, how to launch your first SMS and email campaign. It's 11, so I think we can start the presentation now, please. Yes, so as we already said, the topic of today's webinar is getting started with MessageFlow, how to use it, what is the initial configuration, and one of the first steps is getting to know the user interface and what is MessageFlow tool in general, and what you can do with it. So MessageFlow system consists of several sections that include email section, SMS section, and push section, and within them you can set up several types of campaigns, and you can also integrate and send SMS push notifications and emails via API integration or SMTP integration. And in a minute I will log into the system, and I will show you how the sections look like and how the account looks like in general. So just give me a second. Okay. Can you confirm, Martin, that the screen is visible now? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the first screen that you are going to see after logging into the user account. And the first thing that you need to know that 2FA authentication is now mandatory on our accounts since 15th of September. Make sure to configure it properly before logging in. And the first screen that you will see is the main dashboard, and the main dashboard is just a summary of all the campaigns that were sent from the account. And also there's going to be a small section with the API statistics and the number of emails, push notifications, and text messages sent from the account. And then at the top, we have the names of the sections that are available on your account. It will probably vary depending on the sections that are available just for you. And on our demo account, we have all of the relevant sections on, so I will show you. The first one from the right is the account section, where it is possible to add users and give them rights to the sections on the account. And then we have settlements, and in settlements, you will see your invoices and the details of your company. Then we have settings, and in settings, we have an important section that is API and webhooks. And in API, you can generate API keys, and in webhooks, you can configure API events. We also have security, where you can configure the 2FA authentication for your account. We also have notifications, and in notifications, you're going to see all the notifications connected to the operations that are done on the account, such as exports or imports of data. And on operations list, you will see the operations that are completed or are happening in real time. You will also see the file manager, and in file manager, you can store files, or we can send a file to you if we want to do it in a secure way. And in GDPR, you are able to sign a GDPR agreement, whether you're a processor or a sub-processor of data. And the other sections are, for example, contacts, where you can add contacts to your account. If you're using campaign sections, so email campaign, SMS campaign, or push campaign, it is possible to add all of the relevant contacts in this section. We have push section, including push campaign and push API. Push campaign, you can send it from the user panel, and push API, you can send pushes after integrating via API keys. And it's the same for email and SMS. So in SMS section, we have SMS campaigns where you can configure a campaign within the user panel, and SMS API where you can send text messages via API integration, and email, exactly the same pattern. So email campaigns, you can send an email campaign directly from the panel, or you can send emails via API or SMTP integration. And at the end, we are back at the home tab. So those are the most relevant parts of the user interface. Okay, so in the first part of our presentation, I will get back to it. We said that our platform gives you a lot of possibilities to contact with your customers, with your clients, with the users and contacts that you have on your account. And we saw all of the tabs that are available in the user interface. And what are the first steps? What is needed to do before starting to send any campaign, any messages in general? And when referring to email communication, the first step would be authorizing your email domain before you start sending, whether it's going to be API integration, SMTP integration, or directly from within the user panel. The first thing you need to do is authorizing your sending domain. And after you choose your from domain, you will have to add it in sender authorization tab. You will be able to set up your dedicated return path subdomain or your dedicated link tracking subdomain, or you can choose your dedicated DKIM selector. If you choose not to do it, we will just generate CNAME records with a default values. So make sure to look into all of the additional settings if you want to not to use the default settings for the CNAME records. After the CNAME records are generated, they will need to be added to your DNS panel, and after they are properly added to the DNS panel, they are propagated. Their status in our system is going to change to accepted or verified, and after that you will be able to send your emails via the email API section. If you also want to use the campaign section, you will have to add the sender address, but the sender address needs to be added in the authorized domain. I think, yes, I think we are going to just show it live on our test account. So I will share my screen again. Okay, so we are going back to our email tab. We are choosing common settings in the email tab, senders authorization, and we are not staying in the email address authorization section. We are going to the domains authorization. And as you can see, we have one verified domain and two test failed domains because they're just test domains. And you add a new domain with the button in the right top place on the page. After that, after you go through all of the steps that we previously described, you will see the records are generated, and there's a status section, the host or the name of the record, the type of the record is always CNAME, and the value of the record that needs to be added. After you add them to your DNS panel, you can just, and you know that they are propagated, you can verify them by clicking on the verify button, and when the status change to verified, I will show you. You can start sending. You can also choose the sub account that is going to use a certain domain to send emails from. And if you want to use the email campaign sections, we are going back to senders authorization. We are staying in the email address authorization section, and we can add a new sender address by using this button plus new sender's address. What you need to know is that the from address needs to be in the domain that is previously authorized. You choose the alias, that's the part that is before the ad, and the from name is the sender name that is going to be shown in the email headers. And that's for sender authorization. And I will now give the stage to Marcin, and he will explain how to add the sender ID for text messages.
Thank you very much. As much as we believe that access to the configuration of the domain on the DNS level is just saying us that you are privileged to actually send messages from that domain. Story is a bit different from the sender ID perspective because we have to verify if you as a company use name of the company that should be displayed on the message on the end user screen. So every time you go to the panel and on the common sections try to add new sender ID, after putting the name on the panel and clicking add, it will show as a status on the panel. That will mean that our customer service is at this point verifying if you have access, if you have right to use the certain name of the sender as your company. So we need that confirmation, and most likely we will ask for that confirmation on your site, especially when the name is not going to be directly connected to the name of your company. So manual configuration on our site is mandatory because each country can have different way of verifying different problems with the sender IDs. And for example, in Poland, you have to put name between 3 and 11 characters to be properly displayed. But for example, different countries which has mandatory registration of the sender name might not even display the name, but instead use different number. It can be generated directly and connected to one company, or it can be general number that's going to be displayed for every customer on that regard. So after us checking if the name is proper. For example, we don't want to. It's of course allowed because we don't expect to be able to know every name of the company and be prepared for that. But if you're gonna, for example, use like a name in name of your sender name, it's gonna be problematic in the aspect that it can be messed in the end customers inbox in the application. So we don't want anyone to get confused. So every country can have different registrations and different obligations regarding the sender names. So it's a best practice to first of all know which country has a what type of sender names that can be used and what's the process of the registration. Of course, we can help with the know-how about that topic, but that's the first thing that we are recommending because not every sender name might be added on our site because of the differences between each country on a daily basis. So that's a short thing, and I think that we can skip the part of the panel because, as Ola said, it's always the same pattern. Maybe I'll just show it. After using the SMS tab, common settings, the sender IDs tab, and the top right button, new sender ID, is putting you in the section where you can add the SMS test, for example, name. And now the status is waiting, which implies that our customer service is verifying the sender ID that we just sent it. After it's going to be approved, the status will, of course, change regarding to the status. The next step that I think is going to be very useful on that regard, in regard of preparing to start sending messages through our platform is setting up the API keys. Do you want Ola to get on that topic?
Sure, sure. I think I will share my screen again, and it's going to be easier to just show it live how to add a new API key. So just give me a second. Okay, so now we are in the account settings API tab, and here is where you can generate a new API key, whether it's for SMS push or email sending. So after you successfully authorize your sending domain and you successfully add a new sender ID for text messages sending that's already approved. To integrate via API, you will have to generate a new set of API keys, and we do it by going to the account settings and API section and clicking on the new API key button. And for the sake of security, I am not going to generate any API keys, but what you need to know is that the API key needs to have a name. Then you click on the Generate API Key button, and you will get a pair of API keys. One is authorization, and another is API key. Make sure to copy them to a secure place, because after you click on any other section of this page, they're going to get hashed and disappear. And after you generate them and give them a name, you can also, and you actually should, give them specific permissions for example, a certain section, email or SMS or contacts group transactional email. For the sake of names, transactional email is the email API section. The key can also be used for configuring API events or sending push or campaigns. So make sure to add proper permissions for the key that you just added. And then for the sake of security, you can also enable the IP list option and add a certain IP address or IP mask, so that only a specific IP address can connect and use a certain API key. And after that, you can just close the tab and all of the settings are going to be saved automatically. So this is for adding and configuring a new API key. And now I think the next part is actually importing contacts. So I'm leaving the stage to you, Martin.
The next important thing is to actually prepare the base before importing it to the panel. That's why I'm showing you the Excel, because one of the parts that you can use is API, of course, which is recommended from our perspective, because then it's gonna be properly connected. It's gonna be happening automatically, which is of course the most comfortable from the perspective of using our panel. But if you're gonna do it manually, you just have to remember a few simple rules. That means that first row always is the title of the type of data that's gonna be contained in the section column, for example, A, which A1 I just named email, which means that all informations in the column A are gonna contain user emails. Column B is gonna be names. I used in that example name 1 and name 2 because we're gonna be able to map them in the panel, so we don't have to worry about names. But we recommend to use the same names of the columns in the panel, because if they're gonna be matching the names that you put in the panel with the names on your input file, that means that our system will be able to automatically recognize the names of the columns, which gonna lead us to automatic confirmation of those rows. On that note, I think Excel is not gonna be needed. No, sorry. So as you can see on the presentation, if the names are gonna be matching the fields from the file and fields that are named on our panel, they're gonna be connected, so there's not gonna be any need to click them and manually look for them on the list of the names that you're gonna be provided on the file, which is not problematic when you have only, for example, 3 or 4 types of data, because then the list is not gonna be long. But for example, if you're gonna be adding information about, for example, time of the last purchase, time of the last any activity that certain users might do, or any other type of information, for example, like a product that somebody is buying the most and most recent buy of something, then the informations are going to be much longer and that might be problematic on the on just side of the completing all the information that's going to be needed to personalize each type of message that we're going to be sending. Contacts can be added, and of course, because of the type of the data that we're going to be providing, that's going to allow us to actually work on those groups outside of our based on our CRM systems. But after importing those contacts, for example, we can use them and add them only to one big group. That's gonna be the general way of storing our groups, because the most important thing is that each campaign can be sent only to one specific group of contacts. So if we're gonna import the group of contacts, that's gonna be, for example, example one, they're gonna be only visible as a group example one. They're gonna store contacts, but they're gonna be only one group that will allow us to send those messages to this one specific group. So the important part of our panel is, of course, giving ability to select certain operations and execute the segmentation of those groups, because, for example, we can try to send messages to contacts that have additional data which contain certain cities, and we can add those cities using the filters because we provided and updated all the informations on the panel. So if the fields are going to contain specific type of data, specific dates, specific time, specific range of the numbers, we can merge them together and use them as a sending platform to our marketing campaign. This requires us manual confirmation of each type of import, and each import will have to provide every information separately. But if our systems are, for example, connected via API, which is, as I mentioned earlier, the most comfortable from our perspective way of managing the data on our platform, dynamic segments are just type of the data, declarative data, that are gonna be describing each part of the segment that we're gonna use the message. So, for example, if we're gonna make a segment that's going to be containing people between 18 and 24 years old, and we are providing and updating those data, we don't have to manually each time create a new group, because the group that we were talking about earlier are just static, and they're created for the moment that we are clicking the create of the group. But dynamic segments are updating each 15 minutes, and before the dispatch, there's always the new update of the dynamic segment. So if we're gonna import the new contact each time, if the contact is properly filling all those fields and has relevant type of data, it's gonna be included in the dynamic segment each time the dispatch is gonna be prepared and it's gonna be sent. So next step is compliance rules, which I believe are on your hand, Ola.
Yes. Thank you very much. So before obviously adding all of the contacts and groups to your account, make sure that they were gathered according to the compliance rules, according to the law. And we always recommend using a double opt-in process while gathering contacts to your email base. And double opt-in is a mechanism that works in a way that allows the user to confirm twice that they want to be in your email contact base. So, for example, you have a contact form on your web page or a form where a client can sign up for your newsletter, and they're putting their email address into the box. They're confirming that they want to sign up, and then before the contact is added to your base, they receive an email where they have the link to confirm for the second time that they want to receive a newsletter from you. So that's double opt-in. And after, of course, using double opt-in to contact to gather all of the contacts to your email base, make sure that you give your clients, your users, an easy way to unsubscribe from the mailing that you send, and you can do it by adding the list unsubscribe headers to your mailing. If you're using MessageFlow, you can always contact our support, and we will help you with configuring the list unsubscribe headers for your emails. And in practice, when you add them and they're configured properly, and you have a proper reputation with the email provider, they will show the unsubscribe button at the top of the email, and it's a better alternative to using a sign out link in the email creation, because it was often put in the footer in small letters. Sometimes the user needed to log into the account to resign from the newsletter, or fill, for example, a poll or a form to sign out. So it also makes the users less prone to marking your emails as spam, because marking them as spam is also an easy way to opt out in a way. But a better option for your reputation as a sender is using the list unsubscribe headers and then honoring the unsubscribe. According to Gmail, you should honor the unsubscribe after the user sign out of your newsletter within the 48 hours after the unsubscribe happened. So we recommend doing that even in less hours, actually, and stop sending emails to users that unsubscribe from your mailing immediately. And Google also checks if you're honoring the unsubscribe option that you give your users, and then they display this information in the Google Postmaster tool that we also recommend to track your reputation for this specific provider. So yeah, we know that we already added our sender ID, we authorized the sending domain, we put all of our contacts that we need for a certain sending into the account. And I think the next step is actually sending your first email campaign. And I'm going back to you, Marcin, with that.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the structure of the panel looks like this, and in each section you have a dashboard, which is the first page that you're gonna be seeing on the main tab of the each part of the each side of the communication. But the most interesting for you and the most time you're gonna probably spend on this tab, which leads us to campaigns. As we can see, the list of the campaigns can be filtered. It can be filtered by the user that created the campaign. It can be selected range, status, because you can filter only, for example, the sent campaigns for the sake of the reporting and looking for the specific data that each campaign had. Or you can, of course, look only for edited campaigns, which means that you are only looking for the campaigns that you are preparing to be sent, because each campaign can be set to be sent on a specific date. So you can prepare, for example, campaigns in a week in advance. So everything is gonna be sent on time, and you're gonna be sure that everything is gonna be prepared in advance. So the first step, of course, is going to be clicking the button to create new campaign. And the first thing is to actually name the campaign. Our recommendation is to actually put in the name the date of the prepared sending, and the name that's gonna be directly connected to the type or to the topic of the campaign that you are sending. Because if you're gonna use the generative names, that's gonna be multiplied in the same way. So you're gonna use only the default campaign and the date. If you're gonna be looking for the reports, it's gonna be hard to actually difference them by not having any specific type of information on the list. So after first step, so after choosing the name, which of course can be later changed, there's a time to use the template. So you can use templates that are displayed here, and you have almost 300 templates that can be in any matter edited, can be changed, and it can be used in a way that you're gonna be, for example, change the graphics and change the titles of those templates, and can be used for your marketing campaigns. But if you have your own code, for example, if you work with the marketing company that's going to be providing you HTML code that's going to be redirecting every link, and that's going to be prepared in advance in a more professional way, for example, you can of course use it and import it via zip, import it from the URL that's going to be hosted with the all files and HTML code. It's going to be hosted on the, for example, your domain, or insert the HTML code. In this case, for example, if you want to use some specific graphics that's going to be contained in your email, you have to store those graphics in your at your server to be ensured that everything is going to be displayed properly on the end user's device. But your templates that going to be edited, of course, can be saved, which will save them to the your templates tab. And after sending each campaign, the send campaigns templates are going to be, of course, stored and showed out here. So the name of the campaign might be also useful because of the display reason in the tab of the send campaigns templates. We can choose the template first of the list. And as you can see, each block can be edited. It can be added the specific URL. You can change almost every aspect of the campaign, and each of the blocks can be moved. So the drag and drop editor is, as I can say, very friendly to the user, and you have no need to actually know any type of decoding, any type of the insights of the creating of the HTML code. You can just add the row and describe what type of the content you want to add. For example, you can use the button, and using the text editor, just add the text, and this is gonna make a button that if somebody is gonna be clicking on your email, is gonna be redirecting, for example, to specific site, for example, to the specific type of the promotion that you're gonna be sending information about. So changing any color of the background, any type of the font, any type of the gaps, everything is very simple in the way that you can describe and make the mailing just exactly how you want it to look like. And saving as a new template is going to be, as I mentioned earlier, saving that template on the tab that's going to be named, of course, the same way. The very important thing that, just like Ola mentioned, is register out button. That's in our test accounts is mandatory to everybody that's going to be creating and testing our platform, because we don't want, of course, the situation where as a test somebody is sending unwanted messages to the customers, or not even the customers, but any type of the any type of the users of the internet. So you can add it, and you can use any type of the text using the tool. Inserting the link of the registration out is by, I think the easiest way is to actually mark the text and use special links and registration out link, which is gonna make the connection between the text, and is gonna make us a button that's when this section of the text is gonna be clicked, it's gonna lead us to the page where somebody is gonna be able to confirm if they want to register out from receiving the informations from our site. So if everything is done and we are happy with our template, we can go to the next step where we can put the basic informations. The main is subject, which is mandatory because of the way of the providers display, because of how providers are displaying the information on the panel, on the inbox. So we are just gonna use text. Of course, we can generate the title in regard of the matter that in regard of the content of our email, and we can of course personalize each information if each type of the information, for example, in the title, or we can of course personalize informations in the content of our message, and it looks the same way. For example, we can use phrase hello and use first name, which is going to be connected to the email address. That's why we are, of course, putting more information about our customers in the panel, in the import, because we can use those informations to provide them more personalized experience of receiving the message. In that example, our receiver is going to have information, hello, and for example, it's going to be hello, hola. Choosing from address is going to be able to is going to allow us to choose from addresses from the already approved domains on the section that Ola was describing earlier. From name is going to be displayed name. For example, if you're going to use in this matter test at mail.messageflow.com, the connected from name is going to be MessageFlow, but if it of course can be it can be changed, which we don't recommend of actually changing that much, because if it's of course helping to be recognized on the inbox of the sender that the mail is going to be has been sent from the company that he was expecting the message. Unsubscribed templates. Default unsubscribed templates contains our logo, but if you want it to look differently, if you want it to contain any type of the message that you want to provide about how the data was collected, when somebody was actually giving the agreement to send those information, any legal compliance, you can of course change the template to your own needings. But if you want to just use different template, sorry, default template, you can of course use it, and it's gonna contain information that specific type of a specific email address is gonna be registered out from that base. In additional options, you can change the name of the campaign, describe the campaign. Of course, if you want to give any additional information about the campaign, which is going to be displayed in the reports. Progress notification allows you to receive information that's going to be sent automatically from our platform when the campaign is going to be starting at the 50% mark and after end of the sending. Return address is going to be, of course, the reply to address. You can, of course, add as well Google Analytics settings, which is going to be default, or your own parameters to check more specific type of data on the Google Analytics site. Next step is choosing groups that are going to receive the information, and as we mentioned earlier, you can use the static group, or you can use dynamic segment that's going to contain users, and it's going to contain contacts that are making all the that has all the type of the data that we require them to actually be included in the segment. For that matter, I'm going to use the static group. You can, of course, confirm your choice by checking before the sending the number of the contacts, because, for example, you can expect that some group should contain, for example, like few thousand contacts, and if you see the lower number, of course, you can it's gonna put some red light on your head. So going next, in the summary, you have the basic information about your campaign, which is containing message subject that we put on the second step, and in each inbox, this is gonna be containing information that is connected to the contact. And you can, of course, manage the title or manage the personalization in the way that if there's no information connected, there's not going to be any sign in the in the title, for example, in that matter, and it's going to be just hello, and you can, for example, put hello and the exclamation mark. You can confirm, of course, on the last step, of course, the number of the recipients, and set the schedule time to sending it now or sending with the date, and you can, of course, choose the date of the sending. The thing that we recommend the most is sending test before the actual sending, because the fact is that we cannot we are not able to predict how every campaign is going to be displayed on a different provider side. So because of the each provider using their different way of managing the data, for example, display of the graphics can be different. So our recommendation is actually to have few different mail addresses on the different provider sites, and send some tests to check if everything looks like it should be on the screen. So that's a good practice. And after confirming on our side that everything is correct and everything looks great, we can decide if we are saving the campaign, which is gonna put the campaign in the editing state, state, or we can save and send, which is gonna be putting the campaign in the state that's gonna be sending it if the send now is chosen, or send with the date after. So the date that we're gonna be choosing is gonna be the date where the campaign is gonna be sent. So save is just putting it on edit mode, and save and send is actually confirming that we want to send the campaigns. On the SMS section, the same way we are creating the campaigns, the same way of the filtering of the campaigns. So we can proceed to actually create the campaign. So the first step is, of course, using the sender name and choosing if we're gonna use it as a more like static group send or dynamic segment send. So we can actually use it to, for example, send some information to only one number, so that option is always also here. But after choosing the group, which is of course mirroring the groups from the that we saw at the email section, and they are the same groups that we are importing to the contacts. Difference might be that if we're gonna be providing, for example, from 100 contacts, only 50 of them are gonna be containing telephone number. You're gonna see that the number of the contacts is going to be 50, because only 50 of the contacts are allowing us to actually send that specific type of the data. So next step is creating the content, which is much simpler because of the type of the specification of the channel. So we can only use text. We cannot put graphics. We can, of course, use the emojis, but it's important to remember that each SMS can only have specific number of the characters. And for example, as we are in Poland, we have some special characters that's gonna be displayed as a not GSM7 friendly, and it's gonna be cutting the number of the characters that we're gonna be used, and that are gonna be counted as a one sent message only to 70. So it's important to look at the numbers that we're gonna be using on the message, because number of the build SMS is gonna be changed after crossing the specific count of the characters. Of course, in the SMS message, you can of course use the personalization as well. For example, using the first name, but it's important to remember that this is counted only as two signs in that matter. So we have to actually count that name can be longer than one character, and it's gonna be of course counted as long as as the name was containing. So for example, if you are, for example, using API and somebody described their name as a 200 characters long, that one message, if we are personalizing the first name, is going to be containing that 200 characters in the message. So that's important to actually don't allow some malicious type of information that can be contained in the content of our message. In additional information, you can of course add the description and get the notification of the progress. And last step, summary, is the last step, similar on the SMS section, which is also showing us the number of the recipients, giving us ability to set the schedule time, displaying the content of the message, and it's giving us ability to actually send some test messages on, and of course use the personalization on the from the specific contact that's contained in our group. Of course, the important part of the message might be also tracked links. So on the content tab, you can set if you want to set individual link with the existing suffix, which is going to be the same type of the information after the slash. Individual link is randomizing that number to 6 different characters after the slash, which is going to be connected to only one specific contact in our campaign, which gonna give us ability to actually track those clicks and display them in the reports. Unsubscribe link, in some countries it's mandatory to actually also use unsubscribe link in the message, in the content of the message. So you can also use our unsubscribe link and insert it, and it's gonna be the same way. It's gonna be randomized and connected to the specific contact. And of course, you can use the same template. Is gonna be displayed as the same template of the unsubscribe page. As the main difference between emails and SMSs is, of course, the type of the information that we are able to content, and not everybody is checking the email as often as they are looking at their phones. But of course, the cost of each one SMS message is way different. We can just use some communication channels, as an additional way to getting into some customers. So, for example, we can use the booster that's displayed on the bottom of each campaign. And for example, on the SMS, you can use booster only as the SMS, but emails can provide you booster ability to send messages to people that, for example, didn't set any activity on the email, for example, didn't click on the email in a specific time, for example, 1 week. So if somebody didn't click on our email in that specific time. So after 1 week, they're gonna be we're gonna send the message to them and create automatically the campaign with the specific type of the content, and we're gonna use the cross-channel platform, cross-channel type of the communication to actually get into the customer's inbox. And after saving the campaign, we can see the different state, and this one not being set to the send is only edited. So on the matter of the campaigns, I think that's everything that you should know on the basics. Of course, we can help you with each step, but that's the most important thing on each type of the campaign, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. And we already know how to configure the initial steps and how to configure a campaign from within the user panel. But we also know that we can send emails or text messages or push notifications while being integrated via API or SMTP regarding to the email communication. So we already know where to generate the API keys so that they can be used in your API integration. But what you also need to know is that when it comes to the email API section, you can also integrate via SMTP. And what does it mean? Some of the marketing automation systems or sending systems give you the means to integrate with the outer SMTP server to send your emails. And if it is possible, then you will need the integration credentials. We do give out the integration credentials in our documentation. We also present the example integrations with some sending systems in our documentation, and we are going to send the link in the chat in a couple of minutes. But where to get the credentials for a specific account from, I will show you in a minute. I will just log into the account and share the screen again. So okay, now you should be able to see the email campaigns dashboard, but the section that we need to go to is actually email API. Then you can reach the SMTP account settings in two ways. The first way is going to the main dashboard in the email API section. And under the dashboard, you have the list of all of your sub accounts, and the sub account is a part of the main account, and the sub account can be used to differentiate between the email traffic. For example, you can have transactional traffic on another sub account and marketing traffic on the other sub account. They can have different IP addresses to send, and then the reputation from the marketing traffic, for example, doesn't impact your transactional mailings. So we choose the sub account that we want to go to the settings to and click on the SMTP account settings button. So that's the first way. And the second one, the second option is just going to the email API section, clicking on settings, SMTP accounts, then again, using the SMTP account settings button, and we're in the same place. So there are two ways to go. And then to get the credentials, the login and the password, you have to go to the SMTP integration account setting. And at the top, we have the SMTP account login, and it's always built in a way that there's a number. For example, 1 if it's the first sub account, 2 if it's the second, 55 if it's the 55th sub account, dot the name of your account, and it's not changeable, dot SMTP, and this is the SMTP account login that you have to use for the SMTP integration, and then you change the password for the integration here in the set your password section. What you need to know is that the password that you use to log in into the account is not the same as the SMTP integration password. They need to be different. They have to be different for security reasons. One you set up in a different place, and the SMTP account password can be set only here in the general settings. So you can do it by using the change password option and saving the settings. And when it comes to the host, the port that you need to use, we give all of this information in our documentation, so make sure to just go through it and read it and get the information from there. So this is the SMTP integration, and I know that we have some examples in our presentation, so I will stop screen sharing. Yes. Some available integrations are user.com, Selligent, Bloomreach, Salesforce, eDrone, and Cinerise or Sales Manago. So if you use any of these systems, you can be sure that you can integrate with our servers. And if you use any other sending systems, just contact their support and ask if you can use any other SMTP server that is not provided by them. And then you will probably be able to integrate with MessageFlow. Also, we have API integration that you already know, where you can generate the API keys, but API can be used to connect with us and give us information, what should we send and to whom, for example. You can also configure webhooks, so event APIs, and then we will send the information about for example, the emails that you send to you. And how to do it, you will have to go to the account section, settings, webhooks, and there you can provide us with the URL. Where do you want the webhooks to go? So that's for the integrations. And I think the next step is actually the key difference between a webhook and API. This is also important. We said that yesterday, but we have to repeat it also today. We recommend to use webhooks instead of API to gather information about the messages that you send. While using webhooks, you are going to receive information about the emails or text messages or pushes almost in real time. And once you configure the event APIs, then you will probably not have to configure them again or reconfigure anything. When it comes to API, you can also send a request to gather some information about the emails that you sent or SMSs or pushes, but webhooks are more efficient. And this is the option that we actually recommend. Because with API, you will just have to ask again and again and again and again, and it's not as effective as event APIs. Okay. And yeah, after sending all of the messages, either via SMTP API or from within the panel, you will probably need to know the statistics and analyze how the specific campaign went. So I will ask Martin now to present how to analyze and see statistics from the campaign part.
Yeah, after send of each campaign, as you can see, the button edit has been changed to the report button, and that section is allowing us to see information about deliverability, amount of the messages that were not directly sent or could not be delivered. So we can see that for this example had 100% of the injected messages. Non-delivered is here one. It's only the statistics to be shown. But if the campaign, if the information received any clicks, if there was any activity, the section clicks will show each link that we contained, and we can use additional tools to create group of the contacts that clicked the message. That in that matter, that's clicks of the link. Archived, not non-existing. That would be in this example would use numbers that were not proper, but the import will also exclude those numbers, so there's no worry, and export the information to the report on Excel file. As the type of the message on the SMS message is very simple, there's no many things to actually report on. We can see that on emails there's much more information. Email campaigns are containing information about the uses of the unsubscribe buttons, information about the hard buttons. So we can also check each type of the message, which description of the type of the messages. So we can actually check how many opens each mail had, each campaign had, how many clicks on the specific links that we contained in our message, domain reports, heat map, additional reports on the information that are contained in the email, and of course use of the tools. So we can create from that tool create a group from that tool who containing contacts who clicked or who opened and clicked the message. So we can go further with the communication with some engagement. We can create a group of the contacts that didn't click, or we can more useful on that matter use the button to archive non-existent contacts, because continuing to sending messages on the non-existent addresses might actually impact the reputation of your domain. So using that tool from time to time and not actually checking the reports on undelivered to look how many addresses were not delivered for the specific type of the reason is very important to actually, for example, exclude them and check if, for example, some specific domain is not receiving our information, or some specific email addresses are giving us hard bans. That's very important to actually manage on our site to have to just keep the reputation on the best level. But the logs of the email API are more specific, and they are containing information about the more important type of message, because as I believe transactional emails are much more important. So I think that requires us to go to the different section. Would you like Ola to go?
Sure. Okay, so I will share my screen now. Okay. So when it comes to email API, the information about the emails that you sent are presented as email logs, and you can see them by going to the email API email reports section, and then you will have the list of all of the emails that were sent in the specific time frame, and the time frame is called log retention, and the log retention is dependent on the package that you have for your account. It can be 1 day, a week, 2 weeks, a month. It depends on what the package is. And yeah, the newer emails are presented at the top, and then the older ones at the bottom. You can peruse them by using the search bar, and then you can choose the specific date or a time frame, a specific status from the list, an email of the recipient of the message ID, or the sub account from which the emails were sent. And as you can see before clicking on the down arrow, the logs are being presented in a shortened way. So we are going to expand. Okay. What information is available in the email log? The injected time is actually the time where the email was injected from the sender into our system. The email though is obviously the email of the recipient. Message ID is the unique ID of an email. There we have the sub account and all of the statuses that an email received, chronologically. So first interacted, then okay, and then I know that after that we have one example with even and open. And inside the log, we have also the subject of an email, the from address, the tags, if you tag the emails that you sent from the section, the final status of an email, and the status date. Status details, and status details are important when we are talking about, for example, bounces, a hard bounce, a spam bounce, or soft bounce, or even the intermediate status deferred, because in the status details we have the actual reason why the status actually occurred. So, for example, if you have a hard bounce, then you will probably see in the status details, for example, recipient non-existent. If the recipient opened an email, then we are going to be able to see also the date and the time of the opening. And if the recipient clicked on the link that is inside of an email, in the email content, then we will also have clicked, marked as yes, and the date and time of the clicking. If our recipient unsubscribed from the mailing, we will also have the information about this specific action. With a date and the time, the message size, and the full log of an email. And this is also available to be downloaded into the CSV file. You just need to use the export button. I will advise you to maybe filter the logs before you export them. If you want to export all of them, then you don't need to do that before. And another very important report that we have in the email API section is the blacklist report. And in the blacklist report, we have all of the emails that received hard bounce statuses to some of the messages. In the comment section, there's going to be the status detail, and also in the blacklist report, we have all of the emails that unsubscribed from our mailing or marked the email as spam, and they use the Polish provider Wirtualna Polska, Microsoft, or Yahoo. And what you can do with the blacklist, the first thing you need to know is that if an email is present on the blacklist, all of the other attempts to send to this specific recipient are going to be blocked by our system, and the email is going to receive a drop status. The blacklist can also be exported into the CSV file, and we recommend that. We recommend that you export it, and then you can perform the list hygiene on your site by using our blacklist report. So this is for reporting the emails that you send. And when it comes to text messages, we know that we can look into the details of the specific campaign. When it comes to text messages sent via API, we also have the outgoing logs, the billing, and there you can see the phone number that the test SMS was sent to, the sending time, the external ID, so the unique ID of a specific text message, the sender ID, so from which sender ID you send the text message, and the status of the specific text. So this is for the logs. And what is also available are the dashboard graphs. And what is a dashboard? In each section, so SMS campaign, SMS API, the same for email, the same for push, and even the same for contacts, you have available the dashboard. And the dashboard is a graph that shows in a specific time frame how, for example, the emails were sent, how many of them, what statuses did they receive. When it comes to, for example, contacts, they show you in the specific time frame how many contacts were, for example, added in a specific on a specific date. And also what you need to know is the data retention on the dashboards when it comes to email API. It can be longer than what you can see in the email logs. Actually, the data is being collected from the beginning of the existence of your account. The hourly data is still being presented up to 60 days into the past. After the 60 days, only the monthly data is going to be presented on the dashboard. So I think the The main part of our presentation is now finished, and we have the time um, to respond to some of the most common questions that are being asked by our users. And the first one is, how do I start sending with the email API? As we already said, the first step that needs to be done, whether it's email API or email campaign section, is authorizing the domain. If you do not authorize your sending domain properly as a first step, you will not even be able to send a test email. So I recommend you do that first, then generate the API keys or gather all of the SMTP integration credentials. And after that, you can try to integrate and send any test emails. And what are the sending speeds across different channels and what can I expect? What I can say is the speed with which the emails in the email API section are being sent, and it depends on the type of the IP address that you are using, because while using MessageFlow, you can use either the shared IP address or the dedicated IP address. If you are using a shared IP address, the speed is approximately 60,000 emails per hour. If you use the dedicated IP address, it's double that, so 120,000 emails per hour. When it comes to campaign sections, I will now ask Marcin to elaborate.
Yeah, campaign section is a bit different. In a matter of the email campaigns, we can expect around 250,000 emails per hour, which is a decent speed in that matter. SMSs are more difficult to describe because you have to, of course, account for the size of the message and the type of the message that you are sending, because we can also differentiate the marketing information that we are sending, which are gonna be the campaigns, or you can also use API to send transactional information, and in that matter we are not counting the speed of the messages in regard of the amount of the messages that are sent, but we can use the time as a described type of data, because in the transactional messages, the most important thing is to actually deliver the message as soon as possible. So configuring the channel that we are using right to the needs of our system is going to be crucial in that matter, because for example, we can use API also to send marketing information. That's not a problem, but making a traffic of the marketing information that are going to be blocking our transactional information is not going to be very efficient, and it's going to lead us to the problem in the time sensitive situations. For example, if we are giving our customers 30 seconds to log in, but our messages are going to be delivered in 2 minutes, that's not going to be a right way to actually manage the traffic. So for example, using that the right channel to send right information is most crucial. In the SMS matter, the amount of the messages we can also count as I approximately think around 100,000 per hour.
And the third question is, how can I ensure effective message delivery when it comes to emails? Definitely properly authenticating your traffic and preparing the sending domain, and list hygiene, managing unsubscribes, gathering contacts via double opt-in, giving your recipients an easy way to unsubscribe, and then monitoring the engagement, either the maybe not either, but both the positive and negative one, if we can name it negative when somebody marks an email as spam. You should always monitor the opens, the clicks, and make sure that you are only sending your emails to active recipients. Maybe trying to re-engage the less active recipients. Never send to recipients that unsubscribed or mark your emails as spam. You can also monitor your reputation while using Google Postmaster. You can monitor the spam complaints coming from Yahoo while using the Yahoo Sender Hub tool. And you can also use, of course, our system to monitor the engagement by activating the open and link tracking. And also you can see in the email logs the spam complaint statuses, the feedback statuses, and use them accordingly while planning your sending. When it comes to text messages, I will ask Martin to say more.
Text messages are the channel that as a deliverability rate is almost at the 100%. So that's not a problem to actually send a message to deliver message. The most difficult part is, as I mentioned in the SMS section, is complying to the regulations of the specific country. For example, as an example, we can use Czech Republic, where sending marketing information about the medical products is prohibited. So, for example, the provider can block half of our traffic if they're gonna recognize that type of the message has been sent, or they can block us completely. So regulations of the country and regulations of the specific type of the market that we're gonna be sending the message is crucial in that matter, because if everything is properly done, so each legal aspect is done correctly, there's almost nothing that can provide us problems. Of course, unexpected situations in the technical aspects of the provider can of course occur, but on the daily basics, the deliverability of the messages, of the SMS messages is actually very high. But of course, it's all of course cost sensitive.
Yeah. And the last one is where can I source email lists for my campaigns? Obviously, we do not recommend buying them externally. We recommend gathering them on your own using the double opt-in process. And that's, I think, the
main
answer to
source.
the question. Yeah, the main source.
Yeah, the landing pages and of some informations of our websites, actually making the newsletter with some information that might be useful to the users. Of course, the transactions, like sending them information about the some specifics of our business in as an additional way to contacting. So the most important in my opinion is actually understanding that it's better to send newsletters to a lower amount of the people that gonna be engaging in a higher rate with our emails, that sending a lot of messages that are not being opened and are just lowering the reputation of our domain.
So we are now out of our most common questions, and now it's the time for the participants to ask them. So I think we have 1 or 2 minutes. We encourage you to ask any questions in our chat. I see that no participant is asking or writing anything in the chat box, so I think we can finish for today. Thank you all for participating and for watching our webinar. It's going to be available on our YouTube profile and it's going to be sent to you via email after we finish today. So thank you again and have a nice rest of today. Goodbye.